Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to be reviewing my dad's PC. So it's got an i7-8700K, an eSATA card and Blu-ray, which is quite interesting. A lot of PCs don't have that. No dedicated GPU, it's just the integrated graphics. And that's pretty much it. Everything else you see is just the case and the cables. So let's get to testing. As you can see, we are now in CS2. We are on 720p at all of the lowest settings I could possibly put it at. So let's just hop into a practice match and see how it runs. As you can see, we are now in the game and it's running it's running very bad. We're getting about 22ish FPS with 0%, 1% lows somehow. I don't know how that works. I guess there's no freezing or stuttering. But yeah, I wouldn't call this playable, although I am getting kills against bots, if that's what you call playable. So yeah, I'd say it's alright. Yeah, as you can see, as for GPU usage, it's on the max. CPU, for some reason, really imbalanced. Oh yeah, because the 8700K. The 8700K is quite good, but integrated graphics are usually all horrible. So yeah, CPU ain't bad, but the iGPU is really holding it back. AMD are the best when it comes to iGPUs. Intel, not so much, especially back in 2018. So on to the next test. As you can see, the next game we are testing is GTA 5. As for graphics, we're on 720p, 60Hz, VSync off, and all on normal settings, which is the lowest I could put it at, yet again. FPS should be uncapped, and I'm just going to run this on benchmark mode instead of story mode because I'm lazy. As you can see, we are now testing, and we are getting about 40ish FPS, which is quite bad for GTA, especially the benchmark mode. Here we're hitting about 84% GPU usage, with quite a bit of lower CPU usage. That's because the integrated graphics are horrible, as I've said, and the CPU isn't that bad. It's an i7 around 2018 8700K, which is really quite good actually. But we're getting about 44 FPS, which is quite sad because it's iGPU. So yeah, we're getting about 1% lows of 30 FPS and 0.1% lows of 3 FPS. The 1% lows are not that noticeable because they're not freeze frames, they're more like quick drops. But here on this side we're getting 61 FPS, which is quite alright, not bad. But yeah, I'd call this playable, because on the Xbox this game is capped at 30 FPS on the Xbox One. So yeah, not bad at all. But if you're playing on a higher refresh rate and you always play above 60 FPS, you'll notice that 30 FPS looks horrible. Now on this plain section we usually get higher FPS, which is sort of what we're seeing here. We're getting about 60ish FPS compared to the 40 that we usually get. Even went up to 70 max there, but it went back down again. So yeah, that's about it for GTA 5. On to the next test. As you can see, the next game I'm testing is Rocket League. I'm on 1080p on all the lowest settings. So let's just hop into a casual match and see how it runs. Now that we're in a match, we're getting about 54ish FPS, which I'd say is totally playable. It runs quite decent compared to some integrated graphics I've seen, but quite good for 2018 actually. This is really good. Again, the CPU is barely being used because it's much better than this crappy iGPU, something we've consistently seen. Whereas with AMD things, they're usually more balanced between CPU and GPU. I'm specifically talking about the G series, which I should have a video up of right now or in the near future. Man, I'm quite bad. But yeah, I'm on CPU 10%, 50%, 1% lows of 1, which are quite bad. But yeah, I'd say it's totally playable if you're not on a high refresh rate. Moving on to the next test. As you can see, the next game I'm testing is Minecraft. I am currently on 1080p at all the lowest settings on 16 chunks. So let's just hop into a test world and see how it runs. Now that we're in the game, we are getting about 35 FPS, which is less than I expected. Since in the previous tests we've seen the CPU being used much more than the GPU, and since Minecraft is a CPU intensive game, I'd reckon that good CPU would push out quite good, from the game quite good, but we're getting 40 FPS, which is quite bad. I don't know what's gone wrong. And the GPU is being used more than the CPU. I don't know what is going on here. This is quite interesting for Minecraft. Maybe the chunks aren't loaded in properly, but none are loading in. About 35 FPS. On land, we do get about 60 FPS. Not even that, about 40-ish. It's not great at all. I'd say Minecraft's playable, but nothing like amazing. Maybe if we turn down the render distance a bit, it'll run a bit better. On 8 chunks feels much better. About 60-ish FPS, 64. Or it does go back down to 50. So that's weird. Usually Minecraft's CPU logging. That's quite interesting. Well, I'd say Minecraft's playable for most people. On to the next test. As you can see, the next test is on YouTube, and I'm testing the integrated graphics based on YouTube quality with an 8K video. Starting at 720p, it's perfect. The GPU doesn't really take a direct hit at all, and it's just no effort. 1080p, this is a standard at which most people are going to be watching. 2x speed completely fine, normal speed completely fine. GPU just a tiny bit bumped from 720p, but not by much. Now time for 4K. Still fine, even on 2x. And however, when skipping through videos and going like this, it does tend to like load slower, but it's still completely watchable, I'd say. GPU doesn't take a noticeable hit. Now bump up to 8K. Usually computers don't do well with this, but yeah, this is one of the better performances I've seen. It actually works properly. It's not just a picture. I'm surprised. With the GPU, this is the first time we see a direct hit. It's hitting about 60-ish. From 4K, it went from 20 to 60. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, I'm impressed. On to the next test. Now we're on WebGL Aquarium. At 5,000 fishes, it runs completely fine at 60 FPS. 10,000, about 52, with quite a big hit on the GPU. Wow, that's interesting. CPU, not as much. 15K, about 36. And 30K, about half that, about 19, which is pretty average for CPU GPU combos of this area, iGPU, which is taking quite a big hit, noticeable hit in Task Manager compared to AMD iGPUs. And that's that. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.